My name is Barbara Brucci, and I am here to share with you the rather long and fascinating story of Hope Haven and its presence in the Jacksonville community. While Hope Haven is getting ready to celebrate its 100th anniversary in 2026, the roots of Hope Haven actually go back a little further than 100 years. We began in the late 1800s in conjunction with the Duval County Tuberculosis Society to treat individuals who were stricken with tuberculosis. The treatment, of course, for that time was fresh air and rest, and a facility was built along the Trout River to provide patients with the rest and fresh air that they needed. Hope Haven then went on to also treat children and adults with various other medical conditions. We were known as a preventorium for children, and what that meant was many children were stricken with lack of growth because of a lack of nutrition. In the early 1900s, if a parent wasn't working and had no money for food, children actually didn't get to eat, and they didn't get to eat healthy food. So many children weren't developing well. They were not having strong bones. They were not developing cognitively as well as they should have been. So Hope Haven was a place where children would go to become strong again, and many times they lived at the hospital for many, many years. In 1926, Hardin Goodman, a banker here in Jacksonville, saw the good work that Hope Haven was doing and helped to form what is called the Hope Haven Association, and that's where our 100-year anniversary comes from, the 100th anniversary of becoming the association. It was later on in 1932 that Mr. Goodman was able to rally together individuals with the funding to help create what is called the Hope Haven Foundation. And that was a foundation of money that would actually support Hope Haven and spin off an income for Hope Haven and eventually continue on through the years, and that funding still helps support us today. Hope Haven continued as a children's hospital, a hospital that was built along Atlantic Boulevard, provided many medical services for children who were stricken with osteomyelitis, poliomyelitis, other bone crippling diseases. With that advent of the polio pandemic in the 40s and 50s, many, many children were treated at a hospital. I do a lot of presentations in the community, and it's not unusual for someone to start wiping their eye and I'll see a tear run down their face. And I know what at the end they will come up and tell me how either they were treated at Hope Haven as a child, or their uncle or their brother or their father was treated at Hope Haven. So Hope Haven has remembered for all the great work it did in the community and really touches the heart of many people. Hope Haven continued as a hospital offering a variety of medical services. We had outpatient clinics for vision, for endocrine, for dental services. We offered a low vision clinic, and there was a gentleman called Mr. Gadget who came from Tallahassee, and he brought all types of gadgets over to Hope Haven for people who were having vision problems. So Hope Haven's reputation is really widespread throughout Florida and the Southeast. Hope Haven eventually started to recognize that some children learned differently, and that was through Dr. Skinner, who was seeing many children in the pediatric branch of Hope Haven. And he realized that some children were struggling with learning, with attention, behavior, and we started to put a greater focus on development and learning type services, as well as outpatient services offering speech, PT, OT, and counseling services. In 1980, Nemours put a presence in Jacksonville, and Hope Haven decided to sell off its medical part to Nemours and focus more on their outpatient services. Our facility, the hospital facility on Atlantic Boulevard, did not suffice to provide the services that we needed since it was built originally as a hospital, so we were able to sell that property, and we're fortunate enough to find this beautiful piece of property at 4600 Beach Boulevard along the Little Pottsburg Creek here to develop our new facility here. So we moved into this building in 1989. Through the years of the 80s and 90s, we provided a lot of services such as ADHD evaluations, learning disability evaluations, tutoring, counseling, and outpatient therapy such as speech, PT, OT. We actually had 2 full-time pediatricians here at Hope Haven, and they basically evaluated them for ADHD and prescribed the medications. Pediatricians in those years were not as comfortable with those medications, so our doctors were full all the time managing those medications and behavioral issues with children. Hope Haven always strived to meet the needs of the community, and we change our services and add new services and discontinue services as those needs in the community change. In the mid-2000s, another facility here in Jacksonville, the Webb Center, was no longer able to sustain, and they closed their facility. And the Webb Center provided an after-school program and summer camp programs for children with special needs. The children age from 3 to 22. These are children who would not do well in a typical after-school program or YMCA type camp because they needed special attention, they had different needs, and they needed smaller groups and individual instructors who understood their needs. So Hope Haven actually absorbed the Webb Center programs. We still provide an after-school program for this population as well as a summer camp program here at Hope Haven. In the 1990s, we developed many new programs that still are in existence today at Hope Haven. One of those is the Children First in Divorce Education Program. It is now called Children First Parenting Class, and the aim of that program is to help parents understand the effects of their restructured family on children and how to best co-parent for the benefits of the children in the long term. Generally, parents come in and they are court-ordered to come to the program. They're not usually happy when they come in. They don't want to be here, but having been a facilitator in that class, I can guarantee you by the time they leave, there's many thank yous, and gee, that was great, I learned so much. So it's really quite a beneficial program here. We also developed in the 1990s a program that was aimed for young adults with various disabilities, cognitive, physical disabilities, who needed additional assistance in obtaining employment. They may have still been in high school and they were doing transition services, or they might have been out of high school but not able to gain employment. So we developed a employment services and a job training program, which eventually morphed into what is our Hope Academy today, which is a transition program for young adults who need that additional or specialized instruction into how to get a job, how to be a successful employee, and they can get that here in this type of program in the form of job coaching. Hope Haven continues its tutoring program, which was started by Dr. Skinner. Dr. Skinner, even until his late 90s, would come over regularly to tour Hope Haven and see what was happening. He maintained a great interest in Hope Haven, having been one of the main doctors at Hope Haven. His baby was the tutoring department, so whenever he came over, he always wanted to see what was going on in tutoring. So he was really proud that we continued our tutoring program, serving children from 3 to 22. Sometimes we have a college student or adult that might need some assistance in learning, and we have individual tutors with different backgrounds that we can match up to meet individual needs in tutoring. As Hope Haven continues into the next 100 years, our goal is to offer programs and services that give hope and transform families.